G'day guys, how's it going? Righto, finally after 5 weeks, we are up to episode 7 of doing the freshen up, the colour change of Charlie, the Honda CT110, affectionately known here in Australia as the Postie Bike, because our mail generally gets delivered by a bloke riding around on one of these. Right, so 5 weeks, it's been 5 weeks. I got the man flu. That just dropped me on my ass for a week, and then bloody no motivation for another week after that, and lots of other stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Who really gives a shit, Mark? So in this video, it's currently 12 degrees Celsius out there at the moment, and it is 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So we've been having really cold snaps, 10-degree days, which means at night time when I've been doing spray paint. So this video, I'm just going to show you some tips and tricks to spraying in a cold environment. Normally I'm doing it in summer and I've got everything open and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you can tell down there on the floor, this is bloody paint and shit. So I've used 2 different types of paint, and Epoxy is the black. Now that is shit stuff. So when I'm in a confined place like this and you're spraying with that stuff, things get tacky everywhere. I don't know if you can see on the bottom of my bloody shoe there. Can you see that? Black. I traipsed it all in the house. I didn't realise I was getting wax and grease remover in the house on the floors trying to get rid of it all. And then the other stuff that I used is a metal. I'm going to show you all this metal shield, which is a lot better. When it drops, it's just a powdery. But that other stuff, you're walking around and it's just like tacky. And because I'm trying to keep the heat in here, I don't have ventilation. So this shit's just hanging around everywhere. Gets all over you. I don't know if you can I might look like I've got eyeliner on. It's not, it's just what I couldn't remove on there. So we're going to be running through those tips and tricks of doing it in the... I'm just going to show you everything. Let's get into it. Righto, first problem is, how do I spray paint in really cold weather when the can says it's got to be between 10 degrees or 15 degrees and 25 or 30 or whatever, and you're on the cold. You've got to warm up the space, you've got to warm up the metal and all that kind of stuff. How do we do that? Well, the way that I'm doing it is with this Kero heater. This shed or garage is about 7 meters long by about 4.5 meters wide, 3 meters up to the top of the gable. It's a big area. I mean, it's all, it could be a small area if you've got a big shed, but it is a big area to heat up. So I'm using this Kero heater. I got it many years ago. It cost me $200 and bloody something. I've had a look. You can get them on eBay, $298. You just run them on bloody Kero. In Australia, our Kero is tinted blue, for anybody else wondering what the hell is that bloody blue colour. I'm lucky, and I'm actually running it on Jet A1 fuel, which is just a refined version of the Kero. It works fine, brilliant. So that's 4 litres. Currently, they used to get these for $15 at Bunnings, and it's cheaper to buy these bottles than it is to buy a 20-litre drum. But now they're like up to $22 for 4 litres. But this 4 litres, I can get up to, I don't know, about 24 hours of running this on high like it is now. It'll run that whole time for 24 hours. And this is keeping us at about 21, 22 degrees. Now there's an added thing to it, and that is the fan. So that fan up there, I've just got it on number 1. It's just basically moving the air around. So what I found was, yeah, see, we're up to 22, and this hasn't been going very long. I should have my short lookers on, but you might be able to see that. 22. Now, if I was to turn that fan off, this would drop from 22 down to 18 degrees. So just by having that fan moving all the hot air, because we know hot air rises, it's pushing it down to where this, which I have sitting down here, which is close to the level at what is down here. Obviously, the further down you go, the colder it gets. And we want to be, if I'm operating down here, this is the temp, shut up, Mark. So by having that fan, I've got an extra 4 degrees down at this area here, instead of it being, you know, really hot up there. So if I turn that off, the heat up there would be most probably nearly, I don't know, 28 degrees or something like that. I don't know. All right, so cheap Kero heater. So now you've turned you're heating this up, but the metal is super cold. So it takes a little while for the metal or whatever you're doing to warm up. Use a heat gun, and you can quickly, you know, you don't have to do much, just to help it, yeah, get that up. Now, your cans of spray paint. So here's a can, and normally you'll feel them, they're cold. This one actually feels, I can feel the coolness. It would be all right to use it because we've been in here for a little while. But this was told to me just recently, and this is the first time I've tested it. So all the spray painting that I've done, these spray cans, I chuck them in that bloody thing here, and there you go. So that's there, and that's hot water. And what that does is it heats the paint up, but it also helps the pressure in that tin apparently. And it has just sprayed really well all the way to the end. It's come out really brilliantly. So I think putting hot water in here, sticking a couple of cans in there, and then when you're ready to use them, away you go. Absolute brilliant thing. So sorry, I can't remember who it was that bloody commented and told me about that. I don't know whether it was an email or a comment, whatever it was. But that is a game changer for when you're working in the cold and heating these up. Brilliant. Oh, I tell you what, it's actually getting hot because I've been outside and it's like really cold. But geez, I tell you what, I'm starting to freaking sweat. So the downside, obviously, for you know, closing everything up, heating it all up, is that when you do the spraying, it just hangs everywhere. So very important, obviously, to use one of those when you're spraying. Whereas normally, most of the time when I've done any of this type of stuff, I've been able to do it outside. So, you know, it's not hanging around, it just dissipates away, if you know what I mean. So there's no, apart from just every now and then opening up the two doors and letting it rush out and then closing it back up. Yeah, so anyway, there you go. All right, cool, that's it. So I want to show you the paint that I've used. Rightio, so for the black, as I said, I've used Dulux Metal Shield Epoxy Enamel. This stuff I've used for years. As soon as I got onto it, I've never strayed from it. Now this is a black satin one. You can get it in gloss. I think you can get it in flat and all different colors. But if you think of stuff, I think this stuff is, if you were to get white good paint, you know, like if you wanted to fix up a fridge or something like that, that's what they use, is the epoxy enamel stuff. It's just rock solid. I've got it on rims, and those rims still have not chipped or, you know, anything on it. So it's really, really tough stuff. It goes on. The problem is that it's very tacky to start with, as I was saying. It takes a lot longer to fully cure. I always work on 7 days. After 7 days, then I can start, like I can touch this. This was done yesterday. It's all touch dry, but for it to fully cure, 7 days, and then you are good to go to knock it around and whatever. So that's plastic. There's chrome underneath here, chrome there. The forks down here, they're aluminium. So this shit will go on to just about bloody anything. Once it's on, it's on. And I've only done one coat because most of this was all pre-black anyway. Righto, let's have a look at the sand colour. Righto, so now this sand colour, so it's Dulux Metal Shield multi-purpose spray paint. You know, think of any of the spray paints that you go to the local hardware store, Rust-Oleum or Squirts. Yeah, it's going to be, this is, the Metal Shield is obviously a better, stronger paint than those other ones. Don't quote me on that, but I've used this plenty of times on the bikes, and it will just it stays on there. It works good. It's not as strong as the epoxy enamel, obviously. I went with this brand and style because I could get it in that color. That's why I'm using that, and I was glad that it was actually this particular product because I know it is good. Sprays on brilliantly. As you can see, I've got stuff. I can't touch this stuff because it's only just been done. So this is a type of, all this stuff here is a type of plastic. So this paint will basically go on any type of you know, metal, plastic, all that kind of stuff. Rightio, so here's all the stuff, more of the bloody black, so all the crash bars. Oh, fuck. Righto, Mark, get your shit together. Righto, so I've just got, just so you can see, I've got stuff. I've got the shock absorbers there, the bloody exhaust covers, the crash bar and skid plate bloody stuff. That's all been done in that epoxy. So this is chrome. The paint that I had on before was black and it wasn't the epoxy. And it did chip. It held up really, really good. 10 years that this thing's been bloody running around and crashing and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how well this epoxy holds up on this chrome stuff. So I'll show you what I use to scuff everything up. Right, so I'll just move that out of the way. That's the old toolbox. So all I used was these Scourer bloody, it's a foam with, what does that say? C8. I don't know. It's most probably like a 240 grit, but with the foam. These foam things are great for when you got curves and angles and all that kind of stuff. Then I had this, this is actually, yeah, 240 grit. So 240 grit is what I use to sand all the parts. So obviously washed it all up, got rid of all the grease and crap. Get these, sand all the parts. So all we're doing is just wanting to rough up the surface so that when you spray the paint has something good to stick to. So once that was done, then I used that stuff there with the wax and grease remover. Love this shit, bloody brilliant. And just used cloths. I lost all my bloody cloths. Yeah, wipe down all the stuff. Then you're ready for painting, basically. Righto, so a few things that I haven't got painted, and that are the two rims. So they're chrome rims. I'm gonna have to scuff them up, and I'll use the epoxy paint on that. I've got the exhaust, the actual exhaust there. What I'm gonna use on that is basically just the pot belly, what is it? Pot belly black. So normally, you know, your pot bellies, bloody barbecue stuff, spray that on there and it just makes them all nice. So that's all I'm going to use on that. I've used this plenty of times, works great, no worries. Now, for the back rack, and I'm still not 100% sure how I'm going to be putting that on, whether I'm going to build something on top of that or not, or just leave it. I haven't decided whether I'm going to go with the epoxy black or the sand color. I'm not going to make that decision until I start putting it all together to then have a look, because I've got to get a balance, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. So my head goes, put the epoxy enamel on it because it'll wear a whole lot better than using just the Metal Shield stuff. But if design and looks says, no, the sand's going to be better, I'll just go with the sand and just see how it goes. I might even put a bloody clear coat over or something like that. Right, so at the moment, this bike is looking very sand color there and all black here. So everything, I decided to go everything black there. So it's kind of like going, oh, I'm not too sure. But we've got to remember that we've got the front mudguard is in the sand colour. So that, I think, with that here, there, and then the exhaust pipe's going to be black. The rims are black. There's going to be some other little black bits and pieces on it. So I'm thinking it's going to come up pretty good. Yeah, sorry, I knew the seat. The seat is actually black as well. So I think even though it kind of like looks like it's black there and the sand color there, it just doesn't. Once all those bits and pieces are put together, I think it should balance the whole color scheme out. That's what I'm hoping. I'm thinking that Nae's had a look at it and she's loving it so far. So yeah, righto. So there you go, guys. So hopefully, I know I just haven't done videoing of doing all those bits and pieces. As I said in the previous one, I won't show you, doing all the bits and pieces, but I've done nothing. Purely, I've got to get this job done. This job started out as just going to be a quick freshen up and, not pull much apart and just, but as you start to do it, you've got to pull it all apart if you're going to do a decent job on it. And I'm doing a decent, not a perfect, a decent job for me in doing that. Why the hell was I going with that? I don't know. Yeah, the filming, obviously. I've just got to get it. I've got to get it done. I'm so way behind on bloody videos and stuff. That's why I haven't. And the other thing was, because I was in this confined, that paint was going everywhere. I didn't want to get it on my cameras, on the lenses and all that kind of shit, if you know what I mean. Shut up, Mark. They don't really care. They want to go and watch another bloody video. Righto. Remember, guys, keep on riding, and if you ain't riding, keep on keeping on.